Well, welcome back to the ESL Sessions. Today's episode's a little bit different because it's actually pre-recorded on location. I actually did some independent reporting for the 4th of July while I was in New York City at Washington Square Park. And I actually went out there and asked a couple people to get their opinion, what currently happened with the passing of the budget bill, the new big beautiful bill as it has been named, but as well, at the same time, what has been going on with the militarization of police units, ICE, ERO, Homeland Security, essentially the Gestapo, as it has been told by other independent news medias. And then as well as the new mayoral candidate that is supposedly going to be getting backed by the Democratic Party in New York City, Mr. Zorhan. So one thing I did notice about these interviews was that a lot of the ideas and thought process of what it means to be in this current point in time in the United States of America, especially being at 4th of July, is that there are a lot of mixed opinions, both from the Democratic side, I guess I want to say it in that saying, and the people that they just want to live. That's kind of the situation where we're at right now. And one thing I did also notice while doing these interviews, it was always the people that I guess were kind of considered outcasts, or you would think twice to be able to approach them before you did, that were actually willing to do interviews, to be able to speak out about what's currently going on. And from my personal experience, I can say that may be due to the fact that they are actually the first ones being affected. I did approach a couple people that appeared to have been tourists that were or seemed to be doing a little bit better off, and they were a lot more hesitant to even make eye contact, much less even take up an interview. So the interviews that I was able to do were very limited, about 5 or so, but they were very insightful because they continue to show the entire polarization and the levels of opinions that fall on a very, very wide spectrum, whether it's on the issues with immigration itself, with the current medical disbarring of Medicaid, Medicare in the budget bill, the over-militarization and the attacks on people in LA, but also on previous administrations, opinions on previous administrations. So all that being said, before we get to the interviews, I would like to make this very, very clear. All of these interviews are by their own volition. I am stating this within the First Amendment right for free speech and press, that everything and anything being said in these interviews is strictly and solely the opinion of that individual giving out their name and giving out their opinion. The IE Productions channel, the ESL Sessions podcast, has no affiliation, and their thoughts and views do not express the message of this podcast or the IE Productions channel. Because I say that because they're at the very end, that last interview is a little bit more direct than I was expecting, but he is within his right to be able to make the comments and to say what he is doing, to be able to respect his First Amendment right, regardless of how he feels, regardless of how polarizing it may be. And I want to say this as I have been told, I guess, as an independent journalist, that I must uphold that integrity, and I uphold that integrity to allow him to speak in the same way that he has expressed himself. Had it been anybody else on the right side, if I had encountered anybody that was MAGA, Republican, conservative, or whatever, I would have given them the exact same opportunity to be able to express it. So, reporting to you from Washington Square Park in New York City during 4th of July, here's a little bit of the reporting itself, and with a couple closing comments at the very end. So on today's episode, I'm actually going to be reporting directly to you from New York City, right here at Washington Square Park. So today on the 4th of July, we're trying to get a couple of interviews on the current situation with the administration, with the deportation of veterans, and also all sorts of immigrants. We're going to get a couple of interviews and get some words on people from here that are either protesting, just gathering, or hopefully I can actually find a couple of vets to get their opinion on how they serve and how get their viewpoints on the current situation, especially with the new supposedly big beautiful bill being passed, and as well as all the other changes that are coming in with the new funding to the ICE detention center, the Alligator Alcatraz, and as well as the current raids and everything currently happening in Los Angeles that could be spreading to the rest of the United States. So hopefully, with New York City being one of the hotbeds of a lot of immigrants, not only from Latin America, but also from Europe, from Asia, from all parts of the world, you would think that it would be a little bit more diverse and there would be a lot more changes to be able to try to assimilate in a positive way. Maybe a little bit of diversity to be able to allow for that inclusion in the region with representation. But we're going to go ahead and see. We're going to go ahead and see what actually happens today and how people actually currently see the administration with everything going on. So got my press pass on. I'm going to be doing a couple of these to be able to, you know, bring information to the people, but also, like I said, get a few point of view outside of the general status. So we'll go again, we'll get it started. Can you go ahead and give me your first name, please?
Terrell Harper, aka Rally Rebel.
Okay. I'm going to ask you just a couple questions about the current situation with the immigration process of deportation, but also how it affects current veterans. So if I can ask you real quick, did you know that the United States has actually been deporting veterans since as late as 1996, as early as 1996 under the Clinton administration?
No, that was the first time hearing it from you.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then with it, what do you think about the current administration's role, not just in deporting veterans, but just immigrants in general?
I mean, this place is built off, you know what I mean? Immigration is built off immigrants. The people who run the government are immigrants, they damn selves. I don't think they, you know what I mean? They're Europeans. So yeah, you know what I mean? It's backwards. If we're going to do it like that, then, you know what I mean? They would have to start looking at themselves first.
And then with representation currently in the United States, but currently in New York City, how do you see yourself represented in the city itself versus what's actually being shown on the news and with with protests and any type of advocacy?
Well, I've been out here for a minute, but they always paint us bad. They don't really show what's really going on. And when we are effective, and you know what I mean, within protests, they don't really show that, or they won't give us like credit to show that protest is effective. It's just, you know what I mean? We're fighting, bro. They're kidnapping people. We're watching them kidnap people. Now they're kidnapping citizens. You know what I mean? And they're looking. I just seen you know what I mean, pass for you know what I mean, for the Haitians to get deported. Over 300,000 Haitians. You know what I mean? And these are people that's going through the process the right way. So, you know, like I said, it's built off immigration, man. Everything. America is built off everybody's culture coming here and making it is what it is. You know what I mean? And then I can see them saying whatever they want to say about the criminals and stuff like that. But it's people that's going through the process the right way. That want to live the American dream that they presented. You know what I mean? Liberty for everybody. And it's crazy to see them acting like this. But I mean, it's built off of this. So. You know? And then just one last question. Do you have any members of your family that are in the military? Do you know anybody that's in the military? Yeah. My brother. My brother's a military vet. He went to fought in 2001 for Iraqi freedom. Well, we're supposed to be in Iraqi freedom.
Can I go ahead and get your first name?
My name is Kristen.
Gotcha. So, Kristen, currently with the administration changes with the repealing of VA benefits and as well as deportation of just multiple immigrants, what are your current views on the administration itself?
I've never been so horrified by things being done by my government, and we lived through the first Trump administration. I understand that people have different views about the legality of people being in America and not coming in through proper channels. And that's a discussion that we can have. But this idea that they're just going to kidnap people off the streets and throw them into a van and take them away from their families and their children and ship them off to some foreign country that they've never lived in before. There are so many levels of awfulness in what they're doing to people. It's inhumane and it should be un-American, but I don't really know what that means anymore.
Got it. And then with you, are you a native New Yorker?
I am, yeah, Long Island.
Gotcha. With the entire time frame that both this current administration has been in office, its previous tenure in administration, and as well as other Republican administrations, do you see a lot of these same situations coming in when it comes to the attacking of the separation of wealth between the lower, the working class, and what's currently being pushed by the administration for the upper, for the billionaires, for the technocrats?
The separation of wealth. Trump cares about Trump, And that's been evident from the beginning. And anyone who never ever knew anything about him knows that's the basis of everything he does. Trump cares about Trump. He will use people. He'll get them to vote for him. He'll lie up and down, but he's doing stuff for himself and his family. So yeah, he wants what's good for him. He's making so much money off of this administration. Like if any other president did this, they would have ousted him a long time ago. He never would have come up for a second term because he would have been ousted during his first term and we would be done with this garbage. But for some reason, he is like brainwashed people into believing that all these things he does that are crazy and un-American are actually good and somehow good for them. So yeah, I mean, this bill that they just passed, I assume he's signing it today. It's absurd. He's turning on his own followers, which now finally maybe they'll see what he's really like, because historically they can only see it when it happens to them. They don't seem to have enough ability to see things from other people's perspectives, to see when something illegal or immoral is happening to somebody else in this country. They don't seem to notice. They don't seem to care. I don't know which it is. Do they not know or not care or both? I'm not really sure. But now it's coming for them with these Medicaid cuts and food benefits and the fact that they're going to have to close hospitals, they're going to have to close nursing homes. It's just part of it, right? The energy costs are going to go, like there's and we're going to be trillions of dollars more in debt as a country. Like this party that pretends that they're about the national debt, or used to, like that was a big thing for the Republican Party. Well, that's gone out the window. I guess they don't care about that anymore. So yeah, all they care about is rich people get tax cuts and poor people can go to hell and immigrants can go to hell, and that's what it's about. So, and they just lie and lie and lie and use all sorts of propaganda and indoctrination to pretend that it's something else, but that's the root of it. That's what it is.
All right, can I go ahead and get your first name?
Wolf.
Okay.
Alex. Wolf Alexander is my full name.
Gotcha, sir. All right, and then you are a native New Yorker, correct?
I am now.
Okay.
I'm from West Virginia.
Got it. And I wanted to get your view. So with the current administration, with all the new changes, both with the big beautiful bill, for the supposed big beautiful bill, and everything that's currently happening with, like I said, the changes in the administration now, not only attacking just what they would consider immigrants, but also U.S. citizens. What are your current views on that?
That's horrible. I was just watching this morning a World War II thing, and yeah, it was. They used to treat veterans much better than he does. But he's supposed to make America great again. He's not.
Got it. And then, so being in New York, how long have you lived here?
January.
Since January?
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So you are currently aware of the new supposed Democratic nominee, him being both a Muslim as well as a representative?
Yeah. I supported him of all the men.
Gotcha. Can you give me a couple points on why you do support him rather than any of the other Democratic or Republican representatives that are running for mayor?
Well, I supported Adrienne Adams, but unfortunately she didn't get any press, which is really annoying. And next time around, we're going to have a female mayor. I have anything to do with it.
Gotcha. And then with everything going on across the country with the ICE raids in themselves, but not only that, just the militarization of regular police forces and the new budgeting of ICE. What are your current views on that?
Bad. There are a bunch of goons that are having a good time throwing people around. I'm not really excited about it.
Gotcha. And how do you feel about the administration in itself actually hiring a lot of the January 6ers, the people that are by congressional standards?
Who's the roughest, meanest assholes we can find? Of course. So.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. And then can we get a little more information about yourself? I see that you're actually running for Congress for 2026.
Yes. This district, New York 10 against Dan Goldman, who's a jackass. And my website is spitfirehunter, like the airplane.com. Independent, very progressive, endorsed by The Daily Show. And yeah, so.
Got it. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thanks.
Can I go ahead and get your first name first?
Mark.
Okay, Mark. So can you go ahead and tell me what your current thoughts are about what's going on with the administration itself?
The administration itself? Well, let's start with Melania. Why does she have a Einstein visa? That is normally kept for people who offer something intelligent to the United States in some form or fashion. I'm not sure what she's offered. Okay, number one. Number two, we have laws to protect people. They have to go to court first, and that's not happening. They're just picking them up and taking them out. And Elon Musk also an immigrant? What? This is our administration, and they're talking bad about immigrants. Total hypocrisy. I just don't know where to go from there.
Well, with what's currently going on in both LA and as well as just the over-militarization of ICE itself, and then how the new bill itself actually gave them a pretty much tenfold budget to be able to continue doing what they're doing, what would you give advice, or do you think it's going to be spreading to the rest of the country anytime soon?
Well, that was just a diversion because Trump came out and said that Trump was, friends with Epstein, and so he had to create a diversion. So he brought all these illegally brought Marines into fucking LA, which is, you can't do that. Come on, it's illegal. There's no reason. What about the insurrection when Trump wasn't elected? What he didn't send military then, and that was much worse. Cops were being beat up. It's just the hypocrisy is unbelievable. Not to mention, our president's a felon. Every New Yorker has known he's a cheat, criminal, liar, fraudster for the past 50 years, even when he was a fucking Democrat. So what? I can't believe this is. Trump used to work with the mafia in New York, and then he ratted them out. So he's a rat and he's a criminal. I don't know where else to go from this.
No, it's totally understandable. So with all that being said, and then with the new, the new current nominee to be able to run for mayor, what are your thoughts on his, on his entire stance, on his platform to be running against both what's currently established in the city of New York, but also running against Trump himself?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what's supposed to happen. I hope he wins. New Yorkers are, they don't put up with a lot of bullshit, so hopefully he's going to win, and I don't know what to say. I mean, I can tell you a little story. I used to work across the street from the Trump Towers, so I ate lunch in that area. I saw in 2016. Okay, I'm sitting next to a table where Trump and Hillary Clinton are both eating lunch. Okay, and the waitress is my friend. I worked in the area across the street from Trump Towers, so I'm sitting there listening, and I can hear very loudly Hillary Trump saying, "I want you to run against, I want you to run," telling Trump she wants him to run Republican against the main Republican guy to take votes away from him. He had already lost the Ohio caucus. He'd already lost the Republican caucus. So she didn't think he would win. She just wanted him to take some votes away from the main Republican. And if he did this for her, she would help to make him governor of New York. Okay? Little to her surprise, Trump actually won. So that was an accident. And now here he is taking over in a very mafioso way, because that's what he's involved with the mafia most of his life. So anyway, that's the story of how he actually became president.
Gotcha. And then just one last question. Are you a veteran yourself? Do you know anybody that's in the military or have served in the military?
My father was in Vietnam during the early days. They didn't even have the proper gear. He came back with PTSD like you wouldn't believe. He thought I was a Viet Cong. He jumped on me, pinned my arms down, and started punching me in the face. I could clearly see he didn't know who I was. And this is what we end up with when we go to war, okay? So enough of this crap already, all right?
Okay. And then can I go ahead and get your first name, please?
It's Maria.
Maria? Gotcha. And Maria, how long have you lived in New York?
Since I was like 11 years old. I'm 22 now, so that's like, what, like 10 years or something? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. And then with you living here so long and seeing everything that's currently happening, both with the mayoral elections and everything, how do you see what currently the administration is doing attacking the candidate himself?
You mean like Cuomo versus Orhan?
Yes.
It's a little bit petty. I feel like both people have made like very teenage sort of like jabs at each other. Like that's kind of stuff that you'll hear in like high school being said by one another. But to be fair, like out of the two of them, I am more on like Zorhan's side because I feel like he actually cares about New Yorkers rather than just going up on a podium and caring more about his position as a mayor. I feel like Eric Adams and Cuomo and even De Blasio, the dude before him, they more cared about what they looked like in a suit rather than making fair decisions for every single New Yorker in New York, you know, from the rich and the poor. So I feel like he's going to kind of even things out, you know, and I feel like he's actually going to do the things that he says rather than just talk out of his butt, basically. Yeah.
Gotcha. And then with everything currently going on as the new bill just basically passed, like how do you see that affecting both you as a New Yorker, but just the city in itself in general, along with the rest of the United States?
I don't think it's going to be good, you know, because I was looking into how it's going to affect more like rural areas the worst. And I've already heard a bunch of horror stories about, you know, women not really getting like proper care while giving birth and stuff like that. And it's only going to get worse from there. I mean, I myself, I went in for a colonoscopy not that long ago, and they actually refused to do it on me because I didn't have anybody to drive me. But they do have the option of doing it without anesthesia, but they refuse to do it even that way either. So, like, say I did have something going on that I did need medical attention for, so you would just deny me, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't have, say, the right person by my side, or I didn't have something else going on. You just want to get paid, basically, at the end of the day. Because I know that they make money when they do it with anesthesia. So it's like, you know, a lot of people that work in the healthcare industry at this day and age, they're more interested in, once again, like I said, what they look like in the uniform rather than actually doing a good job. Because I was even in the emergency room not that long ago, because I have ulcerative colitis. So, like, you know, every now and again I do go to the emergency room. And they didn't really care much. And it was kind of dirty, too. From, like, the last time that I was in the hospital to now, it's like day and night, man. The conditions are filthy. The workers, like I said, they rather just chit-chat with one another than actually, like, help somebody. You know, somebody's begging them to, like, I don't know, let them use the bathroom or whatever, and they're just, like, talking about whatever the hell they want to be talking about. You know, the new Love Island episode or whatever. So, like, it's kind of crazy. It is, yeah.
Yeah, so you do have firsthand experience both seeing the prior changes to the current passing of the bill, changes in between it, and then now what's basically already happening within, like, I want to say the past month, like you said, correct?
Yeah, basically, you know, it's just kind of like you could feel that there's no more moral integrity, I would say, in America. Greed and corruption and all those things, sure, have always been a part of it, but I feel like now more than ever, it's at the forefront. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things that, if not the average person is striving for, it's just the people that are running everything by now. And, you know, why is being a billionaire seen as like a good thing, right? Why do you want to be Bill Gates? Why do you want to be Elon Musk? Like, those people, they don't even know how to talk to their own children. You know what I'm saying? It's just strange to me. It's bizarre that, like, we idolize these people just because they have money in their pockets when they aren't the smartest people in the room, clearly, and they're not very interesting also, you know? It's just, I don't know.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And with that being said, I don't know if you've been also keeping up with what's currently going on both in LA, but other major cities of the United States.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit.
What do you think? Do you think that most of that, I guess, over policing, that militarization of that institution might actually spread to New York City or anywhere, any more further out in the west, along the East Coast?
I think so. I think we've already even seen, just like even with like peaceful protesters with, you know, Palestine and stuff like that, we've seen the cops get very aggressive with them and violent with them. So I think that sort of behavior is going to kind of continue from the police, but I think people are going to have to get smarter with how they organize and how they structure themselves. And I think they already are. Instead of doing one massive big thing, I think now it's going to start being little pockets. So they're going to kind of spread a little bit, you know, more out, and it's going to be a little bit harder to control. That's my friend Diana. So, yeah, that's kind of what I think. I think people are going to start to get a little bit more quiet with the way that they spread information too, because I know the police now, they're using like social media and stuff to like keep up with what protesters are doing. So people are going to start getting smarter, and I don't think they're ever going to really, because that would be un-American for them to like completely abolish free speech and all that, right? I don't think they're ever going to win on that front, but I think they're going to try and scare people as much as they can to sort of do what they say, you know.
Gotcha. And then just one last question. Do you know anybody that served in the military? Are you a prior veteran, or do you know anybody that's been in the military?
Yeah, my father.
Father?
Yeah. He almost got drafted. He was in the military back in like the 90s, when he was a bit younger, and he almost got drafted, but they would go by like vowels of like the last name, so it like cut off right before he was kind of called. And he was in like the medical field, like that was his thing, so he knows how to like suture stitches and all that. That's his jam. But he's never really received any financial compensation for like his time in the military. And he has like horror stories from when he was in the military that I heard of. They were based in like Louisiana, I think, and it was so hot down there that their boots were actually melting on the concrete from how hot it was. So I think people are going to become less and less tolerant of a government that treats them like garbage and that wants them to go fight for them. I think people are going to kind of be a bit passive, honestly, if they want us to go fight with Iran. Yeah.
All right. So actually, can I get your first name, please?
Jason.
Jason. All right. So what are your current views on the administration itself? What's happening with everything going on in LA, the over-militarization of police, and then just this new passing of this bill that's basically gutting all of the benefits for everyday Americans?
Honestly, America need to give this country back to who it really belongs to. You know what I'm saying? For one, but we're going to get into that. Let's talk about the Democrats and Republicans first, right? The reason why the United States been so fucked up for a certain amount of time is because of the motherfucking Democrats. Every time Democrats step in the fucking office, they don't give two fucks about the United States. All they care about is other countries. Understand? Now, it's a lot that's going on with the policing. Especially in New York. Adams, you violated. You know what I'm saying? Adams had police sit here, lock black people up for no reason, all type of weird faggot fuck shit, man. Adams know what he did, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how the fuck is the United States looking to aim for change and to make America great again? Well, first you gotta make it great the first time. I was born 1995, right? I can't even tell you when America was great. Ever since I was born, this shit been straight bullshit. So that tells you a lot. I think the United States just need to stop focusing on everybody else, and focus on what's going on within the country. Understand? I understand, when it comes down to politics and all that other shit. Need to focus on here first. Focus on telling the truth for the United States first. Understand? The United States is ran by nothing but lies. Nothing but lies. From fucking Thanksgiving to Christmas to even the 4th of July. Nothing but lies. United States need to stop lying to the people. They need to stop trying to cut budget and all that. They need to stop trying to make the rich richer, bro. I'm not saying make the rich poor. No, definitely not saying that. But goddamn, how you gonna make the rich rich and the poor poor? That don't make no sense. Understand? There's no need to cut Section 8. There's no need to cut food stamps. There's no need to cut none of that shit, bro. They say this is a free country, right? It's a free world, right? So why we gotta pay the price? Understand? It's a lot that go on with the United States, but
it's run by the Klan. You know it's run by the Klan. Is that what you said?
Yeah. But yeah, it's a lot. That's with the U.S., man. But hopefully they get their shit together, man. We're gonna see what Trump could do with these next 4. As far as New Yorkers, we're gonna see what. You know, Adams is out the office. He done. Cuomo up in there. You know, we're gonna see what Cuomo gonna do. You know what Cuomo did as a governor. Yeah. We're gonna see what he gonna do as a mayor. We're gonna see what Trump last 4 years gonna bring. I don't know. It's this gonna be a very interesting 4 years for America and a very interesting 8 for New York when you're dealing with the mayor and Cuomo.
And then, do you have any specific thoughts on that? What do you call it, Zoran, the what do you call it, the supposed Democratic Party nominee?
I don't back the Democrats.
Okay.
I stopped backing the Democrats actually.
Okay.
I stopped backing the Democrats after Joe Biden became president. And the reason why is because, bro, I watched your whole 4 years presidency, bro. You couldn't even stand up and walk straight, bro. You so old you fought dust balls. Like, that's really how old Joe Biden was, bro. Nigga was so old he was fighting dust balls, bro. How the fuck you gonna become president, bro? And you ain't even do shit for the United States. You ain't do shit. Like, zero. Like, 0-0. Nothing. Like, you was more worried about Ukraine and what was going on outside the United States that you wasn't even focused and realized that inside the United States is hell and hassle going on. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Obama too for legalizing gay marriage. I want to say that too. I always felt some type of way, and that's why I stopped backing. That's another reason why I stopped backing the Democrats. Bro. And this is gonna be live.
Live?
Yeah.
It's gonna be on YouTube.
Yes, perfect. Okay. So with that being said, Barack Obama, for you, as it's supposed to be a black man, I'm gonna tell you, as a real black man, I'm African, I'm Nigerian, bro. I'm Nigerian and Cameroon, 100% African, Obama. You was never supposed to let no fucking Senate, no government, no, not even no fucking, I don't give a fuck what the fuck the situation is. You legalize gay marriage, bro. That's something. And another thing with the United States, too, that I really can't just wrap my head around, bro. Motherfuckers are so hip on God and Jesus and the Bible and this and that and that and this. But y'all motherfuckers legalize gay marriage. Gay marriage, LGBTQ, whatever the hell you want to call it, it's not in the Bible. That is a sin. So this is why I say fuck America, fuck the United States, because they contradict themselves a lot.
Gotcha, man. And then just a couple last questions. Do you know anybody in the military? Were you in the military or?
Actually, I'm hoping for World War III, so that way I could go to the military.
Okay. What would you want to do in the military if you were in there?
I want to be a sniper. I want to be able to look after my army men when they go on certain missions and shit. I want to be the one on top of the roof, sniping shit.
Gotcha, man.
So I look forward to World War III. That's the only thing that I can say that I look forward to. It's life. You understand? People need to hear the truth. It's war. Shit gonna happen. You understand? Whether we're gonna go through technology war or motherfucking or whatever wars niggas want to go through. You know what I'm saying? But remember, I said this, and this goes for all y'all other countries out there. Much as I hate the United States, y'all got one time to send a missile over here, you're going to have to deal with motherfuckers like me. Because I'm back in the United States, even though I really don't want to, but this is where I live. This is where I'm from. So, therefore, I have to back this fucking ridiculous ass fucking country that make no fucking sense. But yes, World War III I will be a part of, and I will be with my army, United States, and we are not losing. That's a fact. I'm gonna say it again. World War III, that happens. I am backing the United States soldiers, and we are not losing. Yeah, rock on.
Well, to close off this episode, like I said, each one of those interviews was very interesting because they were individuals that I approached. They were somewhat hesitant to begin with to be able to tell their story or to even show some interest, but they definitely made sure that what they were saying was in line with what a lot of us are already thinking. It's not necessarily just an echo chamber. It's a reaffirming of what is currently going on with the administration. And to hear it from native New Yorkers and a couple people that are not so native, especially the congressional candidate, Mr. Wolf Alexander, it's a little bit interesting to hear every single person's opinion of who I was able to interview. I do wish I would have had the opportunity and more people were a little bit open to actually speak about what is currently going on, but it's also definitely very understandable to not want to try to paint a target on your back in a lot of ways. But to essentially just finish it off is that every single one of those interviews and every single person who provided their opinion are entitled to their opinion. That is the essential right and necessity for the protection of the Constitution. And this is the reason why a lot of these, in total, with the exception of Mike's interview, all of the interviews were unedited. They were literally live recorded right there at Washington Square Park. And I came a little bit close to editing that last interview, but it would not be a very journalistic thing regardless. And I think how he said it is correct. How he said it, what he did, because that's his personal opinion. I don't personally agree with it in a lot of ways. One, because I also am a military service member and I can only say so much, but everything I express has nothing to do with anything with the Department of Defense, with the United States Navy, or with any branch of the military. But a bit that I did cut out at the end of Wolf Alexander's interview, he actually asked me, would I get in trouble for doing these interviews? And let me tell you this much, that is a risk that I am willing to take at this point. I have openly said it that I was an undocumented child. I lived here for 13 years. I went and did it the right way, and I signed up to go to the military. And the one thing that I said is that just like them, their First Amendment right to be able to express themselves also extends to me, to myself, as so long as I'm not acting on or impersonating to be acting on behalf of any of the branches of the military, Department of Defense, or anything, as long as I am not in uniform. So to really close it off, that was what I was able to gather out in Washington Square Park. And I was expecting a little bit more, especially more protests, more people coming out to show support, especially in 1 year before the 250th anniversary of the United States. And not to say that I'm disappointed, but I do wish more had happened, because I was there in a tourist capacity, but I also took it upon myself to be able to take that moment, that exact day, to be able to try to get a little bit of extra opinions of the American public, whether they were native to New York, moved to New York, or lived there or had just recently been relocated themselves to New York. It really does show a wide spectrum that doesn't separate us too much from each other, because we all have those exact same thoughts about what's currently happening with any administration in general. There are points that are going to be negative and positive. There are points that are going to be for and that we're going to be against. And overwhelmingly, out of the people that I was able to interview, their opinions and their points are all counter to what is currently happening in administration. So this is it. Continue to speak out. Use your First Amendment rights, both for peaceful protests, for independent journalism, and to be able to keep giving people voices and an opportunity to speak on their stories and the current situation. Because if we continue to stay silent, a lot will be happening. Officially, it is July 13th. It has been close to 10 days since I did those interviews, and a lot has happened. There have been violent attacks, further violent attacks on the civilians of LA, but also resistance and retaliation towards the current administration. And there is more to come. There's more to come, but I will keep reporting. I will keep doing interviews, and I will continue to tell people what is currently going on and be offering this podcast and this show as a platform for everybody who wants to come on here and tell their story, to be able to continue to speak out to what they believe in and what needs to be said for themselves and for anybody that would like to hear it.